Hey everybody. I also am a frustrated rock star, so this is my set list. It's not my notes, so appreciate that. It's kind of weird being at the end of the day today. I appreciate you guys sticking around and staying active and staying engaged. I've kind of morphed my speech like 3 times today because everybody's saying kind of what I wanted to say. I'm going to take a riff off of something Nathan said earlier, but I'll get to that in a second. The first thing I want to talk about is a statistic, a really boring statistic at first, but it went into my head about a month ago and I can't get it out. By the year 2014, so like 3 years from now, half of our workforce is going to be Gen Y. Half. 50% of the workforce is going to be Gen Y. And that just kind of rolled around in my head. I'm an HR guy by trade. That's what I do for a living. I'm on the SHRM board. I do a lot of work with HR stuff around here. But that just kind of went into my head, and I can't get it out. And I'm going to tell you why in a little bit. But kind of some backstory. Keep thinking about that while I tell you my backstory. In the mid-'90s, kind of like Nathan, I got online, and it opened my world up. It just like blew me wide open. I got a little bit of hosted space on NetINS. Does anybody know NetINS? Back in the day, they were a big provider. And they gave you a little bit of web space. And I built what they call an online journal. And an online journal was just that. I journaled online. It was before there were blogs. There were online journals. And it was really cool, and I liked it a lot, and it lit my world on fire. And I met people all over the world. And then blogs came around, and it got really, really self-promoting. And it really turned me off. So I kind of pulled out of that area. Did some hosting for a bicycle site. Anybody know RagBri? Anybody heard of this whole thing about RagBri we do? I did an online board for people that did RagBri, and did that for a number of years. Kind of then drifted away from the net because it got really promoting, and it got really spammy, and it just didn't feel right for me anymore. Kind of re-engaged in the last few years, and that's what kind of led me to here. This 2014 thing started about, like I said, a few months ago, and I can't quit thinking about it because in 2014, half of our workforce is going to be people that grew up with social connectivity as part of their very being. It's baked in. It's what they do. It's how they live. It's what they do on a day-to-day basis. And we have all these companies out there that are kind of just ignoring it, or they're actively fighting it, and I think that that's the wrong way to go. So that's one thing that's going on. The other thing that's going on is that our social media that we're dealing with right now, in a lot of ways, is being driven by marketers and being driven by people that want to sell us crap. And I really hate that. I don't want to buy your shit on my Facebook page. No offense, I don't. I just don't want to do it. No matter how good your shit is, I don't want to buy it on my Facebook page. I want to connect to my friends. If you happen to sell shit and I follow you on Facebook, that's one thing. But buying your stuff is not what I want to do. Okay, so that's the dual things that are going on in my life. And it kind of led me to a new kind of idea. And Nathan mentioned earlier is kind of blowing up the idea of social media. And I'd love to blow up social media. I hate the word social media. And I'd like to replace it. And one of the things I want to replace it with is the word social capital. If you go back into your Econ 101, capital is one of the 4 factors of production. There's 3 factors of production. You have natural goods, you have labor, and you have capital. Okay? Those are the 3 things it takes to get things done. That's what we do to produce things. So natural goods is pretty obvious. We need pulp and paper and all the wires and the copper and all that. We understand people and labor. And capital is becoming more and more about social connectivity. And social capital, I think, is a good way to think about where we're at right now. I think that social capital is a better conversation to have because it takes the media out of it. It takes technology out of it. Social capital, to me, well, people define it differently. Sarah Hunt? Ufioki? What's her name? Tara Hunt. I always do this. Tara Hunt defines social capital as the network, niceness, and notability, meaning that you have a network, and that's the size of the scope and the range of the things that you can do. Your notability is how good you are, and your niceness is how much you help each other. And that's a good way to think about it. I think of capital in terms of HR, because that's my world. And just to give you some ideas on what's going on, I talked to Seth over here. He works at Nationwide. 25? Somewhere around 25,000 people at Nationwide right now go to work every day, and they play on a Yammer platform. Okay? 25,000 people go to work and get on Yammer instead of email, instead of corporate messaging. and they connect, and they share, and they do things, and they get work done because they're connected at work. Think about that, 25,000 people. Another story, every Thursday on Twitter, we talked about education chat or ed chat. Learn chat happens. Corporate trainers get on Twitter every Thursday, and they talk about the best way to train corporate employees. Okay? Those are the kind of communities of practice that are happening all the time. One of my favorite stories comes out of a book called The New Social Learning. The New Social Learning is written by a guy named Tony Bingham and Marcia, I'm going to slaughter her name, I'm sure there isn't that down. Marcia is from Altimeter Group. But The New Social Learning, they share a story about a group of people that work for a company that's much like Mid-American Energy. Can I borrow your flip cam for a second?
Sure, it's on.
That's fine. Okay, so if I work for a utility company and I need to get trained, I need to go out into the world and fix lines, fix all kinds of different things out in the world. They've given all their employees one of these. And if they run into something, they don't know what's going on, they simply hold it up to whatever the problem is and they videotape it. And they go back to their truck and they plug it into their laptop and they send it out on the corporate network. And within 10 minutes, somebody that's on the other side of the world or the other side of the country or maybe just down the street tells them how to fix what they have going on. Okay, that's social capital, that's social connectivity within corporations as opposed to outside of corporations to get things done. How much time do I have? Okay. The other thing, has anybody heard of the Gallup Q12? There's a Gallup organization, is a huge organization. They do a lot of work with employee engagement. And employee engagement that in their world is measured by a tool called Q12. If you just Google Gallup Q12, you'll see all kinds of stuff. I went through all of the 12 questions is what it refers to, and it's things like, do I have the tools at work to get done what I need to get done? Do I have the support from my management? Have I been praised in the last year? Those are the types of questions it is. It's measuring engagement. Every single one of those 12 questions could be amplified and turbocharged by social tools. Every one of them. And so to me, I guess to wrap it up, this whole conversation we have about selling crap and social media and marketing and branding is not the conversation that I want to have. And so I've been struggling with this. How do you get away from that? Because media has been controlled by corporate interests for so long. In my world, I think that the conversation should be about social capital within organizations, not outside organizations. Even if you have a small company, there's ways that you can leverage social media tools to improve the bottom line, to get better connect your employees, to get things done quicker, better, faster. And you don't even ever have to worry about selling crap on your social channels. So I guess I would leave you with a question. Whatever organization you have, whether you're a startup or whether you're part of a John Deere, is are you ready for 2014? Are you ready for half of our workforce to come in the door with an expectation of social connectivity? And if you're not, what are you going to do about it?